Just when I thought it was safe to move past the topic of Paraclete Edward Jay Robin, seriously, I am working on the next video in the series in relation to the Seshwiki Acts of 1540 and 1707. But again, something had come across my purview, and it again related to a video that Mr. Jay Robin has now put on YouTube, whereby he's asking or requesting from his followers to write to Trudeau and bring in Genesis 1:26 to 1:24, then relate that to his duties pertaining to being under the criminal code and section 180. And that's not exactly everything, but that's enough to now jump off the point to where I need to get to, and the misnomer that we think that we should execute this type of correspondence with Justin Trudeau to put him in his place, in other words. Here is the point that I want to make, and that is you have no contract or agreement with government. There is none. So why would you then give government an opportunity to interfere with what he is actually bringing to the forefront, and that would be Paraclete Edward Jay Robin, and that is Genesis 1:26 to 1:29, which defines man's right of dominion. See, dominion is nothing to do with English law, and definitely nothing to do with government. Government has no rights in your dominion. And so why would you then bring in Genesis 1:26 to 1:29 to then come into under government and then give government an opportunity to define what that means, subject to the level that you've been taught, which is not any hasn't advanced since Sunday school? Why would you do that? Why would you give government the opportunity to affect their interpretation based on your agreement? And that agreement is only an assumption because you have not made your true intent known, which is to stand on your dominion, which is separated through English law, and English law only has to do with rights to land and those uses annexed to land to which government then has a right to. Am I making myself clear here? Genesis 1:26 to 1:29 firmly establishes dominion right. English law has nothing to do with your dominion right. What it does do is it administrates over the use of that dominion, and by separating through common law those interests in land. Thereby government then is granted. Now let's look at that word, granted. Granted means it's to an incorporeal interest. If we're dealing with common law, directly subject to Her Majesty, and we're still going to say Her Majesty because I don't think His Majesty is sworn in until May or something, so it's still technically Her Majesty, but monarchy is what I want to describe here. And also when I mean monarchy, I mean that chattel that sits on the throne, not the legal personage called the crown, okay? So in common law, Her Majesty protects the faith, protects the confidence in her to hold that interest to the corporeal interest in the common law, which is the land. And that can only be transferred through livery arcesian or livery of law. Okay? Then an equitable use is used, and we've discussed through statute of uses how that sort of materialized, that people were making a use under that right granted in common law, and then creating trust to separate those values, to which then government has a right to as a proprietary interest, to which then allows citizens to labor under and be use and have rights to the use of that fruits of the land, but not the land itself. And they come as quasi-trustees. Hopefully I didn't convolute that too much, but trying to impact this in a logical manner, that if you came to the terms of understanding what law is, then of course everything I just said will make sense. But if you come in under those interests that you've derived from under government, this is going to be convoluted to the 9th degree. So the overall view of what I'm trying to get at, that if you then engage in government, you are actually then affirming the agreement to overreach your common law interest held in Her Majesty, and that agreement through operation of law, and before that your dominion right, which is identified in Genesis 1:26 to 1:29. So don't bring in that and then use sections 180 of the criminal code to terrorize, in essence, Trudeau to succumb to your rights while being still a citizen, because by the fact you're making another agreement with government. Government's going, okay, well, you just now contract with me again, so now that means you're a citizen, therefore that agreement now needs to be established, and we can move that into a court of law. So go ahead, move it to court of law. The court and the judge is only going to deal with the matter that you bring in, and you're speaking under like a constructive trust and establishing an agreement with government. So now it's got to deal with that agreement. It's only dealing with the agreement and not the law. First, a common law, and again, you're not coming ever on your dominion right and using the Bible in the right form. So that's all I wanted to say. It was a short video, and yeah, I'm going to get to the other matters that I had discussed, and that is now we start dissecting the Sesquiquy Trust, or the Sesquiquy Acts of 1540 and 1707. Hopefully, if I don't allow myself to come into another interpretation and then make one of these subsequent videos. With that, if you like the video, hit like, subscribe, and donate if you can, because my interest will be your interest in the end. Thank you.